it was the first time that we've really done it. Well, it is the first time we've done an episode through the whole summer period.
Yeah.
One episode midway through into August, and the only reason we did that is because I was self-isolating. So
yeah, it's baffling. Like 7 points from the first 7 games is nothing to be sniffed at, especially when you're Watford. Like
they beat Villa on the opening day of the season.
If they kept that kind of run of like 7 points in 7 games, they're going to end the season on 37-38, which is in the last few seasons been enough to keep games up. Like
The return is here, and welcome back to the Handbags, Manbags, Bumbags podcast. We are back better than ever before. We're here, we're back. If you could call it an eagerly awaited return, I'm not sure you really can, to be honest, because our following's not up there yet, but give it a couple of months, we'll be there. You do join us in new surroundings with various changes that have taken place behind the scenes. In preparation for this forthcoming year of studies. You may wonder that audio sounds quite good, doesn't it, this year? That's because we're big time now. Studio times, isn't it?
Yeah, somehow.
Upgraded,
big upgrade from just a standard Zoom call in our bedrooms to... well, technically we are still on a Zoom call, but my superb editing skills means that we are using the audio footage from the radio studios here at Staff's Uni, but also using the video from the Zoom.
Yeah.
So, half there, we just need to get the video sorted, but the audio sounds good, and you may be wondering where on earth that's come from, but hey-ho. Big things for the HMB this year.
Exactly, the perks of being journalism students at university when there's not COVID. Well, there still is, but you know what I mean.
Exactly.
You can actually use stuff now.
It allows us to get better audio quality for our tens of listeners, if not single-digit listeners. So, but hey, we don't really care. So, as you may be aware, it's me back again, Ben, along with Rob and Jake, to bring you some enthralling content for this new year. But I'm afraid you'll have to wait until next week for the good content.
Don't say that. They're going to click off now.
Well, you've got to state the facts, haven't you? So, we're going to be starting next week with our proper content, but this week we're just going to be summing up where on earth we've been for the last 3 months and what's going to be coming up over the next few months or so. Couple of, well, I say ground rules, but a bit of pointers to start with. You may have noticed that this episode will be released on a Thursday now. Well, that brings me on to the changes that we're making for this year. So, one being that we've changed our upload day from the original Monday evening at 5 o'clock to Thursdays afternoons, which works a lot better, I'd say, in allowing us to cover more content throughout the week.
And it helps us because we are far busier this year.
Exactly, and it gives me a bit more time to edit it as well, and not just a Sunday afternoon.
Yep, we are actually proper students now that have timetables and stuff, and we don't just flick a computer on for an hour once a day.
We've genuinely done more in the first week than we did in the entire whole
100%, 100%. Secondly, that will be being the way that the YouTube is shown this year, because I have completely changed up the edit this year. Better, well, that's to judge, but I've probably made it look worse, but oh well. Trying to make an effort for once. And thirdly, we're all fatter, but could we class it a change, really?
Fatter?
Yeah,
Speak for yourself, Ben.
What do you mean, speaking to myself?
I knew we should have read his intro. I knew we shouldn't have just skipped to our bit later on.
Exactly, that's why you don't trust me with Q material. But anyway, coming up on today's...
that is poor effort from the start. That is disgraceful.
So, well, anyway, coming up on today's instalment of the HMB podcast, we will be diving into what's been going on in our world over the past few months. Rob, what else is going to be coming up this week?
We're going to look ahead to what content is going to look like over the years, because we're going to mix things up a bit.
We are indeed. And Jake, what else may we be doing this year, time dependent, on the Zoom call?
Reflecting on the start of the Premier League and what's going on and who we think the title contenders are.
Absolutely, but that is all time dependent. But we will start by delving into what on earth has been happening with this podcast over the last 3 months or so.
Nothing.
I think you've summed it up perfectly. Right, move on. No,
we did one, to be fair. We did
do one, and go back and listen to that one if you haven't seen it already, because that was the one where we all predict. Well, Jake wasn't present, but he gave us our predictions anyway.
He didn't turn up, but
but it was the first time that we've really done it. Well, it is the first time we've done an episode through the whole summer period.
Yeah.
One episode midway through into August, and the only reason we did that is because I was self-isolating. So
yeah, why don't you explain the reasoning behind that then? Because I would have been down to do a podcast every week because I had nothing on, but you two weren't up for that, were you?
Well, it was difficult really because it was busy. It was very busy this summer. I was doing a lot of work behind the scenes, not podcast work. Sod that. I've not done it. I've not done any podcast work over the summer, but it's work experience work with Switch Radio, where I'm working for down in Birmingham, and also paid work as well, working pretty much Monday to Friday, very mixed hours. So it's difficult to gauge when the best time to record was, and plus a lot of my weekends as well was stuck playing cricket. So again, it wouldn't have given much time for us to record. But we're back now. We'll be recording every week if we can book it. But
yeah, we'll be fine.
We should be fine. But content goes forward from now. So Jake, what's your excuse then?
Basically, I was going to get a job. Did that for about a day or two, and then just gave up. So I just sat watching sports all summer, pretty much.
Well, I guess that's still a good thing though. It gets you more course aware, I suppose.
Yeah. I was actually available, but in true COVID fashion,
you couldn't be bothered.
Everything I was doing was sat at my desk at home because summer of COVID.
No, realistically, the real reason is because you couldn't be bothered.
Well, no, you were busy.
No.
What actually?
There was more than one reason.
No.
I was very busy. Jake was sort of busy. You?
No, I would have done. I was around. What the real thing is, if we're being honest completely, Ben is the only one who knows what he's doing with recording and editing, and he was busy.
To be fair, I actually did move house in the summer, so that is another valid excuse.
The reality is
that is one excuse. To be fair,
yeah, and
me and Jake can't be trusted by ourselves. So,
well, to be fair, you'd probably be able to work this now. It's not too difficult.
Yeah.
Well, I
know the studio. Yeah, I don't know Zoom.
I say that. Well, Zoom's less difficult than this. All they had to do was press one button to record the call, and then literally just take that straight into Premiere Pro to edit it. But we shall see with the edit this year how it goes.
We actually put together a slightly professional podcast, didn't we? For something at the end of last year. Well,
exactly.
Jake didn't help out. He couldn't be bothered to turn up. But
no.
But yeah, if you didn't see our Premier League predictions video, go back and have a look at it because, well, at the moment it's
a shocking start.
It's been a shocker from all of us. But well, I say a shocker from all of us. The bottom 5 or so is probably standard.
To be fair, that was always nailed on there, wasn't it? Really,
judging by those teams that are down at the bottom, you can see why we've predicted them to be there.
Oh, yeah, I'm just saying. Obviously, I'm going to focus on the positives in my one. We ignore the fact that I said West Ham would be bottom half of mid-table. We ignore that. We'll just say the fact that I did point out that Brighton have a good chance of fighting for the top half at least. And
I think we discussed in that episode that Brighton needed a striker, and at last they've actually got a striker, and it's one they already had in the club.
Yeah.
They've finally managed to get Neil Maupay playing some decent football.
Yeah, actually finding the back of the net.
And I think that, well, I say it's partly due to the arrival of Marc Cucurella from Getafe, because he's that position that Brighton needed.
Yeah.
They were playing Dan Burn out position a lot at left wing back, and Cucurella's ideal for that position.
Yeah,
ideal.
Dan Burn is, I think he's 6'6",
6'6", a bit slow, and
yeah, not a wing back.
But he's slotted in perfectly into Brighton's back 3 now, so it's not the end of the world. And Graham Potter's a superb manager.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've rated him for a long time. It's just a matter of time before the luck turned for him, to be fair.
100%. Well, we've discussed why we've not been doing podcasts over the summer, but let's talk about what we're doing now in terms of our careers, our journalistic careers almost. So, I say we'll start with Jake. Let's start with Jake, shall we?
That's because there's nothing there. We're getting him out of the way first.
Let's get you dealt with first. Summarise.
Basically, not much at the moment. But
there's plans in the work.
I'm working on it. Yeah.
Plans in the work.
Yeah.
That's what we like to see.
Yeah.
That's what we like to see. I know, Roberto, you have been quite busy with trying to gain work and stuff.
Yeah, I sent out quite a few emails about doing stuff. Got barely any replies, but
standard that.
Yeah,
it's standard.
That's how it works, isn't it? Everyone's the same in any job. You just move on with it. Try something else. Yeah, I've done some writing over the summer. Like I say, just sat at my desk at home, doing some writing for a website called Sporting Ferret, getting some articles up every now and then. They send a list out, I'll write it, I'll get it up there, and then I'm hopefully going to be doing some work with the Stoke City Academy in the coming weeks as well.
Fantastic work. Well, I'll summarise what I've been doing over the summer, other than doing paid work and obviously been very busy sporting-wise. I have been working for a radio station down in Birmingham called Switch Radio, who produce a load of sports podcasts to go out on Saturdays and stuff, and they'll gradually diminish while the football season's on, but there'll be one podcast every Saturday at about 5 o'clock airtime after the main football commentary's finished, and I've been basically primarily doing cricket for them, trying to get our cricket podcast every month or every other month whenever I'm available to do one, and I've recently signed. Not also doing some writing-based work experience, but signed for a company called Vavel. You may have heard of them if any journalists are listening. You may have heard of a company called Vavel, primarily focusing on Burnley writing, which is obviously my club. First report I did at the weekend was not a classic at all, but we move.
Yeah, we did warn you about that. 0-0.
I was. To be fair, I was warned by these two in advance that it was likely to be a 0-0, and they were right. But to be fair, Jake, you were saying that we should batter Norwich.
Yeah, you should. The likelihood was always a dreadful 0-0. Let's be frank. Yeah.
It was maximum going to be one goal in it. Really. One goal in the game.
It was either going to be one decent goal or one scrappy. But how Burnley didn't get a penalty in that game, I do not know. But that's to discuss at a later time. But I would like to get your two opinions on this. What has gone wrong for Burnley at the start of this season?
Don't know.
Basically, I don't think they've had enough investment. They've had some, but it was so late on in the window that they didn't start the season with fresh new players in the squad. So it's the same old Wood up front, Goodmanson, and it's just becoming quite predictable.
It is.
There's nothing different, which is why Maxwell Cornet could be the guy that saves your season, because he actually brings something a bit different.
I saw something on Twitter a couple of days ago, basically comparing a starting 11 that Burnley put out against Everton at this stage 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I think it was the start of the 2019-20 season. Exactly the same lineup.
Yeah,
exactly the same lineup.
Exactly.
Bar one player, which was Barnes for Vidra. Exactly the same.
It becomes too predictable in the end.
But the thing is with Burnley, we have been playing. I wouldn't say Burnley's style of football is exactly attractive, but we've been playing not bad football, really. We've been taking the lead in games, but our problem is we've not been able to hold the leads, and that's in the Premier League. You just cannot do that. Yeah,
that's an issue in itself. It's like you have to work. Like, your defence is the thing that's kept you up for years and years and years.
I think
that's kind of failing you now. So
I think a major problem for us this season is Nick Pope's not been firing on all cylinders at all.
Yeah, he's been very dodgy this season.
He's been shoddy at best, which is probably why he's been dropped from this month's England squad against Andorra and Hungary. So we shall see. But
the thing, when you think of Burnley, you always think of the hard, gritty performances, getting the 1-0s and some of the games they should be winning. Like Norwich, even if they played poorly, they'd grind out some goal from somewhere and win 1-0. Then the defence as well is always something you think. Strong defensive performances, and that's just been the difference. The attack hasn't changed, but the defence has got worse, so the points are dropping.
Yeah, and that's the odd thing, because none of the personnel has really changed, but for some reason, the defence has got worse.
It's the lack of changes as well. So when you play,
that's
especially
our
at the back, you've had the same back four for 3 or 4 years now, so people know the weaknesses by now.
Yeah, but I think when Connor Roberts is fit again, that could be a bit of a change to our back four and make us less unpredictable, because Roberts is very good going forward, but whether he's going to provide the defensive prowess that Lowton provides, because they're two completely different fullbacks. That's our problem. It's what Dyche wants our style of play to be.
Yep.
But to be honest, I can see it improving over the next couple of weeks. Obviously not the first week after the internationals, because we've got Man City away, and that's our annual 5-0 battering.
Yep.
But then we've got Southampton away and Brentford at home, and realistically we need at least 4 points from those games. Otherwise we're in big trouble.
Although based off the start of the season, the Brentford game is going to be
tough,
incredibly hard,
very tough. But I could see us getting 3 points at Southampton.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Southampton's the
with
one
James Ward-Prowse suspended as well. He's their only real outlet going forward to provide Adam Armstrong. So realistically, you're going to see them struggling, and I think that's why, I think it might have been you, Rob, that predicted Southampton to go down this season.
Yep.
I think you had them in 18th, didn't you?
I think, well, we all had Watford and Norwich to go down, but then we all had a different team to go down in 18th position.
Yeah.
Rob had Southampton, you had Burnley, you fraud, and I had Newcastle. But
Well, currently Burnley are in 18th place.
yeah, but we've
so-
played 7 games of the season, so
Well, if we go enough
Anything's
current table, none of Watford aren't there, so we're all wrong.
yeah.
True.
But talking of Watford again, Xisco Munoz, what on earth are Watford doing? It's the same again, just getting rid of a manager who's actually not been performing too bad this season.
Yeah, I don't know.
It-
Just a
it's-
Watford model.
Yeah, it's baffling. Like 7 points from the first 7 games is nothing to be sniffed at, especially when you're Watford. Like
They beat Villa on the opening day of the season.
if they kept
Yeah.
that kind of run of like 7 points in 7 games, they're going to end the season on 37-38, which is in the last few seasons been enough to keep teams up. Like
Yeah.
and if they just it's just so hard to explain because it's so baffling. Like how they do it every single season. And
It's bizarre. It really is bizarre.
It just doesn't work.
What I will say though is that obviously none of us are Watford fans ourselves, so we don't watch them regularly at all.
No.
But what I will say is that I've struggled to find Watford fans on social media that don't think it's a good decision. So there's obviously something we're missing as outsiders to what happens every week and the level of performance. Because everyone on a Watford end seems to be saying right decision, and everyone on the outside is saying it's stupid because look how you've started the season. So I will side with the Watford fans here. I think if the majority of the fans are saying right decision, then it probably is the right decision.
True. I follow a Watford fan on Twitter, and he has said that the football is pretty garbage. Yeah.
I don't think so. Ranieri coming in, obviously won the league with Leicester, but record down the bottom of the table isn't great.
He was sacked within about 5 months at Fulham.
Yeah, exactly.
And so he got sacked. Came in at this point in the season with Fulham. Didn't last the season.
And obviously
got sacked as Leicester because they were right down there the year after winning the league. His record down the bottom of the table isn't brilliant.
And obviously Xisco Munoz has also spent a lot of money on players this summer as well, and he's not really had time to adapt those players into the Premier League yet.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got players like Emmanuel Dennis and that, who's proven in the Belgian league, but I said, it's the Belgian league, isn't it? But he has played Champions League football, Emmanuel Dennis. They've also got the problem is that with Watford they buy so many players, just
hard
can't
to gel the
incorporate
team
them.
together. Yeah, it's like they got Josh King, Dennis, Kutchka in midfield. He's like 35. That was
Yeah.
that was a very odd transfer.
It's the same it was the same with Fulham last year.
Yeah.
Always is.
Fulham bought like an entire new back line.
Yeah.
But how did they expect to stay up? But the thing with Watford is I wouldn't mind these sackings if they brought in managers that made sense. Like Ranieri is such a short-term appointment.
Yeah.
Like,
Why don't they go out and make a ballsy signing like someone like Lampard or Eddie Howe or something? Exactly.
Like,
it just doesn't make sense.
Ranieri so short-term because he's approaching his 70s now. He's going to be there for a year or two max.
He's on a 2-year contract.
Exactly. It's
and he probably won't see
silly.
that out.
Very silly.
It's bizarre.
So it's a shame to see, really. Isn't it? So I think everyone's developed a soft spot for Watford over the last couple of seasons, thanks to Ben Foster and his vlogs behind the scenes and everything. Watford's kind of become a team everyone keeps an eye out for now.
Yep.
So definitely great content. Definitely get him on here at some point somehow.
Yeah.
If you're watching, Ben, don't know why you would be, but if you are, get yourself
down
here.
I don't know why he would be either.
Get yourself down here.
But I think that would take us quite nicely onto another topic, actually, the changing face of football, really, because you're seeing a lot of players now that are starting to go to games and vlog the games. Like, obviously, Ben Foster's the main one, and the reaction from it has been superb.
Yeah.
Really superb.
I'd say the rules are set to change next year, I saw as well, that around what players are allowed to cover, because Ben Foster's been told he can't have his GoPro and his goal this year, obviously.
Premier League
rules, even though the EFL allowed it, but they are actually due to change at the end of this season. And I think things like his vlogs and players' social media presence is probably the reason for that. So players are now going to be allowed to cover more matchday stuff, like they'll be able to film things. They might be able to film the team talk beforehand or whatever, or these sort of things. So Ben Foster, if he carries on at Watford and if he gets a new contract, then he might be able to put his GoPro in the goal next year if he plays.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be
those sort of things might be changing. But so
the problem is with Ben Foster, he is in his late 30s now, about to go into his 40s. But the thing is with goalkeepers, they can go that bit further.
Yeah.
So second outfield players, Latan turned 40 this week, didn't he?
Exactly.
Van der Sar for United, he was in his 40s before he retired. So.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's interesting. So obviously now he's not even the only Watford player who does behind the scenes now. Will Troost-Ekong has nabbed one for the.
Yeah.
He'll be filming again this week. He's off to the Nigeria again.
Exactly. And you've got players that are not necessarily filming match days and stuff, but they're filming stuff behind the scenes in the community and that as well.
Yeah.
Because I know for a fact there's a player at Burnley, Josh Brownhill, the centre midfielder we got from Bristol City. He does a lot of work filming in the community and that, going round to like disadvantaged communities and stuff and helping them out, giving them like food and stuff and packages, which is what we want to see from footballers. It's that positive image we want to see footballers presenting themselves.
There's a lot of players who definitely love the camera.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Each club have their own. Obviously, I know from Liverpool side of things, if you see a video on the Liverpool YouTube channel, I did one recently behind the scenes of the team photo and then did FIFA ratings and stuff. And the two that are always playing up to the camera, Virgil van Dijk, Andy Robertson, are always two. They're always the front two in any of these sort of videos they do.
Who would you say would be Man United's two then, Jake? Because I know exactly who Burnley's two would be.
What for?
Playing up to the camera.
Two joking up to the
behind-
camera.
Behind the scenes.
Jesse
stuff.
Lingard and probably Paul Pogba.
Yeah.
The two main
Potentially.
guys, I'd say.
And I'd know who Burnley's would be. It'd be Ashley Barnes and Ashley Westwood because they are a dynamic duo together. Because I've seen them in pre-season videos taking the mickey out of each other.
The next step here is, like I was saying, Will Trooster Kong's videos now. He's covering the international scene. Somebody I've seen on Twitter saying was absolutely brilliant idea. Obviously, we know how successful England's coverage behind the scenes stuff is. Obviously, the Lions Den, for example, with covering the England games would be brilliant. How about England behind the scenes vlogs by Declan Rice?
Potentially.
With Mason Mount as his...
Potentially, yeah.
Rice and Mount, the football Anton Deck behind the scenes at England every time. That would be brilliant.
Yeah, why not?
It actually would, yeah.
Why not? It's the change. That's why football's changing. You're seeing a lot more footballers becoming.
It's because it's the younger players coming through have grown up in this time. Like you say, like sort of like think of like the YouTube scene now in the UK. People like we watched growing up. Well, I say me, I didn't really get into it until a couple of years ago, but like especially like you, Jake, 'cause you're slightly older than us. Like you're a similar age to the likes of Declan Rice and those sort of players. So like they would have grown up on the same sort of things, like watching these videos as YouTube and that as well. So they've become accustomed to this sort of lifestyle. So they can quite easily get in front of the camera and have a laugh about it.
Exactly. And I think that's just good to see. And I think definitely is the changing face of football. But let's move it on and talk a bit more about us then, shall we? And
how did we get onto that? We're meant to be doing welcome back.
Exactly.
That was meant to be where have we been? And
but this is
that?
good though. This is good. This is content that we're managing to gauge just from our heads, not just me saying to you like, oh, we're going to do this week. This is what I want us to start doing a bit more. Just get into random waffle about certain subjects and that, which is good because we're engaging with each other.
I think we covered where we've been. So what we do what's happening next.
Yeah,
let's start with this studio.
Let's start to cover what's to come. So, yeah, obviously we are in a studio now. We are currently loaning out the Staff's Uni radio studios, and what a setup it is.
Yeah,
I mean we are very fortunate that we've got this at our disposal.
Yeah, I think we've done very well here, haven't we, to get this.
Exactly.
We're trained up on how to use the facilities here already?
No. I'm trained up.
I know how to do it as well.
I'm the one that did the test and did the booking.
Yeah, but I was here the training week, the same as you. Jake's the only one who doesn't know what he's doing, isn't it?
Well, you can be the one that leads it one week then. Do all the techie stuff.
Maybe.
We'll see. We'll see. And if you cock it up, then that's where I'll have to come in. But
that maybe was definitely absolutely not.
No, 100% because it's Rob, isn't it? So yeah, a bit more on like what's got to come in.
Let's say we get this, and then hopefully, so as we get on, because we can do stuff this year, say no COVID or whatever, so we should be staying in here the whole year now. We shouldn't,
100%.
unless we go back into lockdown or whatever.
Crossed.
Yep.
And then hopefully down the line we'll get train on some use of some cameras, and we can get off Zoom and set up a few cameras and different
exactly
get different close-up angles and stuff. That'll be brilliant. Be properly professional then.
Exactly.
Leveling up big time.
Big level up.
We're effectively a year behind where we want to be.
Yeah.
And with this podcast, since we've had the ideas.
100%.
And
but
the other perk about this studio as well is that between me and Jake, you can't see them on camera, but there is 2 more empty seats and 2 more mics, which means we have far more room to get guests on. Obviously, we had Chris Coles on, didn't we?
Go and listen back to episode 25 if you haven't already. It was a really good interview, and Chris was a really lovely bloke to chat with.
So that was great fun for us, and I think it made a really good episode. And now, obviously, we can have up to 2 more people in here with us at the time.
We can.
So we can try and sort that out again, hopefully. And now we've got a studio with more appealing, because we were thinking about getting more guests on, but we found it a bit awkward to say, oh yeah, can you hop on Zoom? It's far better to make ourselves sound good and just go, do you want to come down to our studio?
Well, we could get them in the studio, but we've also got the facility to get them on the phone as well. potentially.
Yeah.
So if they can't get down to our studios here in Stoke, well, I say, why am I keep saying our studios?
It's not ours.
It's not ours. It'll never be ours.
No.
But depends if we're big times one day soon. We'll have to buy out the uni.
No. I think it'd be cheaper to build our own studio.
Probably. But yeah,
anyways,
that's some of the ways we're going forward. We are looking to get more guests on. We managed to get Chris Coles, as Rob said. That was a really good thing, going and listening back to that. But yeah, we are looking for more guests, and we're looking to develop our content a lot more this year.
Yeah, so we just go for more into that, what we mean by that then?
Well, yeah, essentially we are trying to... we have changed the style of how we're going to create these podcasts this year. It's not just going to be... we talk about one topic like it was when we formed the Handbags, Manbags, Bumbags podcast.
Yeah.
We're going to try, essentially, almost what we did when we were World Class Waffle.
Yeah.
So we're going to bring three topics to the table, talk for about 10 minutes each, because we are, at the moment, still limited on Zoom. But we're going to try and talk about 3 different topics, get into a bit of a debate, look to engage our content and get us talking and gaining our confidence a bit more.
Yeah, like I say, we are effectively a year behind where we want to be.
Yeah.
We were so difficult for us to plan stuff last year. Like we'd have to do it on a group chat while we were all at home. Because not only did we have the whole COVID situation affecting, I mean, we couldn't get into these studios or whatever, which was our original plan. We also got separated in different parts of the country for half a year as well. So it's very difficult for us to plan. Hence, also why over the summer, while the episodes stopped, because we were away from each other, we couldn't plan properly.
Exactly.
How these things work, but now we are back. We shouldn't be having to disappear off. We are very busy.
Yeah.
So,
but we will make time.
But we're going to make time.
We will make time because Jake and Rob are a lot busier than me, but
we are until
after Christmas. But at the moment, you two have 2 more lectures than me at the moment.
Yeah.
But that's okay in a way because we can do the recording and then it gives me time to do the edit because that's my behind the scenes bit. That's me doing the editing, but. What we'll probably have to do this year is like spread roles out a bit, so I will still do the editing and that. I will do the video editing, the audio editing, but mixing it up like someone doing the social media and stuff, so it's not just me doing it.
Yeah.
Because at the moment I'm editing the video, editing the audio, doing the socials, planning.
Yeah, well, we've got 4 hours a week more lectures than you at the moment. Yeah. So technically you need to do 4 hours of work to catch up to us.
Fair, I am a social media guru because I am followed by Mark Goldbridge. So.
You are, and you are getting him on the podcast at some point.
Yeah, we might as well we've said it enough times off of them. Let's get this on record and get this in an episode. Jake is adamant that if he tries, he can get Mark Goldbridge on the podcast. And now there's video evidence of this
evidence.
So if he does not come on, then you are a disgrace.
I won't lie, he will be upgrading to come to our podcast instead of Ben Foster's podcast.
But don't say that, we want Ben Foster on as well.
But
don't diss Ben Foster. Your podcast is brilliant, Ben.
Sorry, Ben. We didn't mean that at all. But Goldbridge, if you are listening, we know you are, secretly. Come along. We've got 2 spare seats. Bring a friend. Bring a friend.
To be fair, he did like one of my tweets about eating stuffed peppers for tea last year. Yeah. So what can I say? We're best mates.
He is a uni student who cooks stuffed peppers.
Who does that?
Me.
Who does that? But anyway, that's what else do we think we're going to be getting up to this year in terms of podcast related stuff?
I don't know. I think we're going to do a bit of a mixture, aren't we? Because we move more towards fun little gimmicks and stuff the end of last year, didn't we? Things like best commentary lines, that sort of stuff.
But those episodes worked. We may still introduce some of those episodes.
I did enjoy them a lot, but I think we're now going to do a bit more of a mixture of stuff of the last week. Like straight away we've gone into Watford's manager getting sacked. Yeah. Which we probably wouldn't have covered.
Exactly.
Last year. We're doing a mixture of stuff now.
Headlines from the week of sport or whatever, and try and mix it up, try and get some more people on for interviews, just so it's not...
Even if it's just some of our mates coming on for to help us out on the podcast, it's better than nothing. It really is better than nothing.
We are back. We're back, and we're going to be better, hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, eh? Fingers crossed.
If nothing else, the audio's better, so that's an improvement already.
Yeah. But hey ho, it's things are looking up. Things are looking up, and hopefully things will be better in the future.
Yeah. We'll see,
Allegedly.
We'll have to start thinking of some good content now. We've bigged ourselves up.
Well, I did have a list, but that's probably going to change now because that was before things have changed.
Maybe next week we can start with story time about our trips to the darts the other night.
Yeah.
That could be good.
Absolutely. That could be a good
content for
you may have seen some of our personal Twitters and stuff. We were at the World Grand Prix darts in Leicester on Monday night. Jake and Rob, well, let's just put it this: they were tipsy at best. Let's put it that way. You probably may have also seen our old audio editor, Byron. He had it pretty much.
We were better than you would have been if you weren't driving.
True, because my history with drinking is not great, is it?
It's very ropey.
Yeah. We'll leave it there. And let us know if we'll cover this in more detail next week. If you want to.
It's sporting content.
Those of you that do actually bother to still listen to this, which we appreciate that a lot, and let us know. Guess, be realistic though. We don't turn around and say you want Premier League footballers on it.
Maybe we could stretch to League 2 footballers, but maybe not Premier League yet.
Yeah, let us know. Yet. Those of you who actually listen, obviously, why the reason we make it. The fact that there is still some of you out there, that's why we're still doing this. So.
Realistically, I think it's our parents.
Well, don't say that. Cut that out.
Cut that out.
My parents don't watch it, so I know that some of the views are at least.
Well, we were getting I'd say a fair amount. I mean,
well,
it was reasonable.
They're still good enough for us to decide this is worth making a comeback, isn't it? Exactly, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's why we do it. So we want to know.
As long as we're not in
people.
single-digit figures, I'm happy.
Exactly, if it was in single digits, then I think it would be.
There's enough people
we'd have
here.
to start considering.
There's enough people here for us to think this is still worth doing, and we appreciate that. So if you are one of those people, let us know.
Exactly.
Let us know who you want to hear from, because you might have different interests to us. We found that interesting, of something we wouldn't think of.
If you want to see us talking about sports that we may not know much about and waffling on about that and talking absolute rubbish for about half an hour.
The other bonus as well we haven't mentioned with, say, COVID and stuff, is obviously we are meeting much more people now in and around than we were this time last year, which hopefully means we'll bump into some very interesting people who could come on for an episode or so.
Hopefully. But we shall see. But we've only done one episode so far. So
yeah, this doesn't count. This is
the warm-up episode.
This is welcome.
We start again next week, but
next week's effectively season 2, episode 1. This is welcome back.
Yeah, we're just dipping our toes in the water for today.
This is simply just the return, as it will show in the title. So, the return of the HMB. We're back. Where have we been? You've heard that. So, let's just leave it at that, and we will see you next week for hopefully some actual sporting content.
Yep, hopefully, yeah.
Hopefully. So, for now, that is the end of this episode from the Staffs Uni Radio Studios. We are the HMB Podcast. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for sticking here over 3 months of nothing.
Shut up. Yeah, you've ruined my outro now. You've completely ruined my outro.
You called me fat in the intro, so that's level.
I called myself fat as well, so... I also called Jake fat, but he isn't fat.
I'm slim.
My slim. Anyway, we'll hold it there. We are the HMB Podcast. Thank you very much for listening. Take care, and we shall see you next week.
Cheers,
Adios.
Goodbye.